On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 crashed into the Java Sea 13 minutes after takeoff. All 189 people on board died. On March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed 6 minutes after takeoff. All 157 people on board died. Both aircraft were Boeing 737 MAX 8s. Within days of the second crash, regulators around the world grounded the MAX. The FAA grounded the airplane in the United States on March 13, 2019. The grounding lasted about 20 months. The technical center of the story was MCAS, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, software that could push the nose of the aircraft down based on angle of attack data. But this episode is not about one software system. It is about the corporate system around the software. Boeing was once shorthand for engineering conservatism. By the time the MAX entered service, the company was operating under a different logic: compete with Airbus quickly, avoid costly pilot retraining, keep production moving, and preserve the economics of the 737 franchise. The airplane did not design that logic, management did. Quick recap. Every company is shaped by 4 forces: market, the conditions they operate in; money, how they're funded, and what that costs them; management, the decisions made at the top; moment, the timing and events they didn't choose. All 4 are always present. Only one is decisive. Boeing looks like a moment case because the crashes and grounding were the visible break, but the deeper force is management. The crisis was triggered by events. The vulnerability was built by decisions. Boeing operates in a 2-company market. For large commercial aircraft, the world is basically Boeing and Airbus. That sounds comfortable. It's not. It means every product cycle is existential. If Airbus has the better narrow-body plane, airlines can shift billions of dollars of future orders. If Boeing misses a generation, it cannot simply retreat to a crowded middle. In 2010, Airbus launched the A320neo, a re-engined version of its narrow-body jet with better fuel efficiency. Airlines cared because fuel is one of their largest costs. Boeing had a choice: design a clean sheet replacement for the 737 or update the existing 737 platform. A new airplane would be expensive and slow. Updating the 737 would be faster, cheaper, and easier to sell as a continuation of a familiar aircraft family. The market pressure was real. Airlines wanted efficiency. Airbus had moved first. Boeing needed an answer. But market pressure does not dictate how a company answers. It explains why Boeing moved fast. It does not explain every design, training, disclosure, and certification choice that followed. Market. Intense duopoly pressure, real but not decisive. Money shaped the MAX program. The 737 is one of Boeing's most important franchises. A clean sheet airplane would have required enormous development cost and years of risk. A re-engined 737 promised a better financial outcome, faster to market, lower development expense, and continuity for airlines already operating 737 fleets. The continuity mattered because pilot training is money. If airlines could operate the MAX without expensive simulator training, the aircraft was easier to sell. That became a powerful constraint around the program. At the corporate level, Boeing was also under pressure to deliver shareholder returns. In the 2010s, the company spent heavily on dividends and share repurchases. That does not mean buybacks caused MCAS. It means the management system was operating in a financial culture where cost, schedule, and capital returns had enormous weight. That distinction matters. The lazy version of this story is buybacks killed Boeing. That's too simple. Capital returns do not write software, certify airplanes, or train pilots, but they do reveal what the organization is being asked to optimize. When a company is simultaneously trying to move fast, avoid retraining costs, protect margins, and return cash, engineering caution has to fight for oxygen inside the system. After the crashes, money became visible in the other direction. Boeing took tens of billions in charges, compensation, production disruption, and lost cash flow. The company suspended MAX production for a period and later had to carry the costs of rework, delayed deliveries, and damaged trust. Money mattered, shaped incentives, but it was still not the deepest force because financial pressure has to be converted into decisions by people. A company can face cost pressure and still choose a more conservative safety path. Money, a powerful incentive system, not the final cause. Management is the decisive force because the MAX crisis was a chain of organizational choices. The first choice was strategic, update the 737 rather than build a new aircraft. That choice was defensible in business terms, but it created engineering constraints. The larger engines had to sit differently on the older airframe, which changed handling characteristics in some conditions. The second choice was certification and training strategy. Preserve continuity with previous 737 models as much as possible. The aircraft had to be sold as familiar. The more different it looked to pilots and regulators, the weaker the business case became. The third choice was how MCAS was designed, documented, and communicated. Investigations found that pilots were not fully informed about MCAS in the way the public later assumed they would have been. The system initially relied on input from a single angle of attack sensor. When that data was wrong, MCAS could activate repeatedly. The fourth choice was organizational transparency. Boeing and the FAA operated within a delegated certification system where manufacturers perform significant parts of the certification work under FAA oversight. That system can work only when the manufacturer is conservative, transparent, and culturally aligned around safety. The MAX crisis showed the weaknesses of that arrangement. Then there is the broader culture question. For decades, Boeing's identity was engineering first. After the 1997 McDonnell-Douglas merger and the move of headquarters away from Seattle, critics inside and outside the company argued that financial and executive culture gained ground over engineering culture. That claim can be overstated, but the MAX record gives it substance. Production pressure, schedule pressure, and cost pressure kept showing up in the wrong places. The 2024 Alaska Airlines door plug incident, that was not the same technical issue as MKS, but the FAA's response pointed to the same broader concern. Boeing's problem was not one software system on one aircraft. It was a quality and management system that no longer inspired automatic trust. That is why management is decisive. The company made choices under pressure that a more conservative engineering culture might not have made. Management, decisive. Moment is the crash sequence and the grounding. The first crash happened in October 2018. The second happened in March 2019. Two accidents in less than 5 months created a public and regulatory crisis no company could manage as normal business. After the second crash, global regulators moved. The FAA grounded the MAX in the United States on March 13, 2019. The aircraft did not return to service until late 2020 after design changes, training changes, and regulatory review. That moment was catastrophic. It turned internal decisions into public evidence. It took Boeing's best-selling aircraft and made it a symbol of broken trust. But the moment did not create the underlying system. It revealed it. If MCS had never activated incorrectly, the management culture would still have existed. If the grounding had been shorter, the same questions about certification, training, and production pressure would still have mattered. The moment made the failure visible because lives were lost. Moment, the public trigger, not the root cause. So let's grade them out. Market. Airbus pressure was real and urgent. Money, cost, schedule, and shareholder return incentives shaped the program. Moment. The crashes and grounding were the public break. Management, decisive. Boeing's crisis is not a story about one bad line of code. It is a story about what happens when a company with an engineering identity starts optimizing around constraints that are not engineering constraints. The 737 MAX had to be efficient enough to answer Airbus, familiar enough to avoid expensive retraining, cheap enough to develop quickly, fast enough to protect the order book, profitable enough to satisfy the financial model. Each constraint made sense in isolation. Together, they produced a system where safety-critical decisions were being made inside a business case that was already too tight. That is why the peer test matters. Airbus faced commercial pressure too. Airlines always push manufacturers for better fuel burn, lower cost, and faster delivery. The existence of pressure does not determine the safety culture. The question is what the organization does when commercial pressure meets engineering uncertainty. Boeing's answer during the MAX program is what the episode is judging. That is the framework lesson. Management failures are rarely one dramatic decision. More often, they are an accumulation of priorities. The organization learns what actually gets rewarded. It learns which concerns slow the schedule. It learns which warnings are expensive. Boeing did not stop having engineers. It stopped letting engineering conservatism dominate the system. That is a management verdict. Next case goes back more than a century. A&P invented the modern grocery chain, then watched the market it created move past it. Subscribe.